Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is Krista here to do the extended monthly forecast for the sign of Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's the general reading for your sign, so whatever is most prominent in your life at the time of this viewing, I hope that you find the messages helpful and healing. This is a general reading for your sign for the month of September 2018. And I'm using a 6-card tarot spread today, asking the question, what does Gemini need to know for the month of September? Messages for Gemini for the month of September. Messages for Gemini for the month of September. Gemini Sun, Gemini Moon, and Gemini Rising signs. Messages for Gemini, and there we have it. So in addition to your 6-card spread today, I will be using the bottom of the deck card for general energy for the month for you. And as always, we'll get jumper cards from each of the oracle decks following your 6-card spread. 10 of Pentacles, what a gorgeous energy for you to have for the month of September. Gemini, this is absolute physical, mental, financial abundance and wealth. So this is, especially if you've been undergoing any difficulty or hard times lately around these areas of your life, this could be a measure of healing for you. So there could be a lot of healing that's occurred in the month, at least by the time September is over for you. 10s always indicate the ending of something as well. So something could be coming to a completion. A job or a contract may be coming to completion. An era or a landmark might have been made. So an anniversary, a new level of a commitment, or even a raise or promotion. But if this has to do with your physical health or family issues, something could very well be healed here and be at its highest peak. 10 of Pentacles, kind of everyone wants this, and everyone wants the 10 of Cups because it's absolute wealth and wellness. So this is a really beautiful energy for you to have as overall energy for the entire month for you, I'm happy to say. Really, really beautiful for you. So we're going to get into your 6 cards now. I will do a little overall snapshot for you with regard to what all the cards are saying together here. And then of course we will look at these one by one. I think I might just move this to the side actually, just because I want you to be able to see these somewhat before I lift them up to the camera. There we go. So like I said, you have this beautiful 10 of Pentacles energy for the month for you. So I just want to say right off the bat as well, there's some air or swords energy behind you here, a little bit of anxiety. I would really keep yourself, look at this, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful reading, Gemini. I just want to mention right off the bat, if you've been having any difficulty with stress, drama, conflict, fear, anything that's generally speaking a low vibration to you, and you know the difference because it's the absence of fear, I would recommend that you take the month and take every opportunity you can this month to correct negative thinking. Okay, so that's I'm just throwing that out there as a little project for you because I want you to defeat these low vibrations that I do think by and large you could be carrying into the month, or that could be sort of attaching themselves to you, or because something has been so, it's ongoing, it seems to be permanent, and it's almost like you can't envision or imagine your life without it somehow, even if it's negative. But sort of make the decision, Gemini, this month to say, look, even if I'm comfortable with it, even if I'm used to it, even if it's something I can count on, even though it feels bad, I'm going to make the decision to try something new. I want to feel better. and I'm going to make a point of feeling better. And you can even just do like one little exercise at a time. You know, catching negative thoughts and not switching them off or giving yourself grief over it, but just changing the message, right? And that does take practice, but just if you have to, write some things down, give yourself, a note on your mirror or your phone to, keep yourself in check. Any way that you can help yourself through a difficult time this month, Gemini, I'm going to suggest that you do that. Certainly message me for personal readings if you want to find out anything particular. Or if you're looking for links on YouTube, for example, for ways to do this, whether this is, loving the self or some meditation work, you can leave a comment and let me know if you're looking for specific links to things that you think may be helpful, or you're willing to try, and I can add those for you. So in saying all that, general snapshot, we have this two gorgeous major arcana cards for you. Extremely exciting. They're both in the 1 and the 0 range. So early right off into the bat, I do think a new beautiful beginning awaits you. I do see this at the end of the month for you, which is an advice card, which is, take a leap of faith, but you have to have a full heart to do that. You really do. You have to believe that the best awaits you and that you deserve the best in order to have sort of that mind and heart of a child in many ways. You don't have to be immature about this, but you have to, suspend doubt really at this time and really take an act, make an act of faith. Okay. So this is why I really want you to, try to ameliorate those negative thoughts, because this is going to just immediately raise your vibration, and it's not going to seem like you're doing a lot. So it's a really nice, easy segue into sort of rewiring your own brain so that you're vibrating at a higher level, because this will behoove you to do that. And the Magician here, of course, you have everything you need. So, and really exciting, a plan is about to take action. So again, I see a little bit of heaviness here in your past. I see some messages that were moving very, very, very quickly for you, maybe cutting to the heart of the matter, but ultimately being very heady, sort of living in the head here. So while you're there, take advantage of it. Use your imagination to your benefit and use that internal dialogue to your benefit. It can drag us down. It can make matters worse. It can induce panic or upset, or it can actually be your best friend. So that's what I'm going to add here at the beginning for you. It's actually a rather simple reading, so I'm glad that I spent a little bit of time just looking at some positive aspects and some methods of healing for you to get out of something that's been dogging you. So let's get into each card in their respective position, as I always do. So of course, in the issue or situation for you, Gemini, in the month of September is the 8 of Swords. This is really feeling as though you're stuck. Now, swords take up the entire first row. Swords, or air energy as the cards denote, is really more often than not going to occur in your own mind. This is the mind, thoughts, ideas, beliefs, concepts. The messenger, the knight of swords, could be an individual, and we'll look at that in just a moment. But energetically, this is a youthful, talkative energy that's in quite a bit of a hurry. This is a very hurried or rushed. It could even be scattered energy, and we'll look at that in just a moment. But the top row is all about thoughts, ideas, beliefs, and self-dialogue, okay? So the situation is that you feel very stuck. You feel very bound. There's a great deal of anxiety in this card. There could be sleeplessness, but the beautiful thing about it, believe it or not, is that there is a blindfold, not in this image, but in the Rider-Waite Tarot imagery, for example, there is a blindfold on the individual who's surrounded by the swords, but her hands and her feet are not bound. So there's something here that I'm going to suggest that you're not seeing, or you're not willing to see, or you're not able to or you're not ready to, for whatever reason. The situation is saying there's something that you're not willing to look at with clarity, and it's binding you up. It's keeping you captive. Even though your hands and your feet are free, you are free to go. You're free to come and go. But in your own mind, it's almost like you've trapped yourself. You've convinced yourself of something here that feels anxious and overwhelming. But because this is happening internally, and because, the underlying sort of energy here, at least around the situation, and your energy is really in the mind. So I'm going to suggest that this is something that you yourself and only yourself can fix. I think you can get help if you wanted to look at how other people are doing it, or, maybe do guided meditation. You don't have to, fix the issue by yourself. But I think the most important thing here is to recognize that no one else can see you through this. You have to decide that this is something you're willing to see or face or confront. Because the card representing you is the Seven of Swords, and the Seven of Swords is trickery. There's some element of trickery here. There's also risk. Listen, it's twofold, okay? The Seven of Swords. Let's look at two of the main purposes of this card in terms of meaning, and then in relation to it representing you this month, Gemini. So the two main purposes behind the story of this card are trickery, but it's also taking a calculated risk. I think it's up to you right now to decide which one of those perimeters in terms of the story this card tells that you're dealing with. And because it follows anxiety, and it's been preceded by feeling rushed or having rushed messages, or even another Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius individual. This could be you as well. It could be that you could very well be tricking yourself, your own mind right now, or upsetting your own thoughts in your own mind right now. Perhaps by overthinking. It could very well be that there's an element of you tricking yourself, right? It's not that you're necessarily being tricked by someone else. I think you'll have to ask yourself if you're trying to trick somebody else. Is this you trying to do that? Or if it is about taking a calculated risk, like what's that risk about? And is the risk inducing anxiety? And then if it's inducing anxiety, is it a worthwhile risk? Like maybe just examining from that vantage point. Again, with the trickery, it's when I say that, I just mean trying to get away with something here, because this is in the mind for you, and of course you're surrounded by your own mindfulness. I think it could be something that you're trying to pull over on yourself, trying to convince yourself of, trying to get away with. There could be something here in the 8 where there's anxiety, where the 7 is you mentally trying to scramble around, not wanting to face this, whatever's causing anxiety here either. So trying to get away from something in your own mind is going to feel very circular, and it's going to not feel very peaceful. So this is why I really think it's beautiful that the bottom row has a lot of beautiful advice for you. I think it's really wise for you to see yourself as you really are right now, which is what the Magician represents. And then, of course, remember the underlying energy for the whole month for you is having this gorgeous wealth and health and beautiful, happy, healthy family. See, the 10 of Pentacles means that you have so much wealth and wellness and prosperity, okay? So however you define prosperity, I might put this over here actually, that you can share it, you can give it away. Family is involved here, by the way. The 9 of Pentacles would suggest that you are independently wealthy and happy to be independent and successful and moving forward as a sort of a lone ranger. The 10 of Pentacles is saying that family, you're including family in that prosperity. So this is a very beautiful, healthy family card as well. So just back to the top row here, anxiety, perhaps trickery, perhaps, like I said, a calculated risk, but I don't think you're convinced of it. Let's just say this is a calculated risk that's representing you right now for the month of September. I don't think you're convinced of it. I don't think you or someone else is convinced fully that this calculated risk, if that's the case, is a good idea, okay? Because we have the Two of Wands underneath it, however, I think you are, of the Eight of Swords, that is, and I'm just jumping ahead a tiny bit here, you know, the Two of Wands under this means that you have the world in your hands and you're trying to make a decision about which way to go, which is very curious here. Ultimately, Gemini, you're not convinced. The Messenger or the Knight of Swords here is in the recent past. Now, chronologically, this kind of belongs over here. So it actually precedes the 8 and the 7, which is the Knight. And as I mentioned very briefly, this is just an individual, a youthful or could be immature, not necessarily in a bad way, but an immature energy. If it's an individual in your environment, this could be Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra in your environment in the month of September, who is or could be working on these things with you. If this is you, however, or you in the recent past, and you're encountering these things, again, I'm going to suggest that only you can find the way out. If this isn't an individual or you, this is going to be a smattering of mixed messages, and they're going to be technologically had. Texting, calling, anything to do with technology, you know, even photographs and videos, really at this point, sharing memes, sharing videos and photographs, even if they weren't taken by you. You know, this is really in the domain of the Knight of Swords. But there's a rush here, and there's no cups in your reading. So if this is an element having to do with the heart, this is something that you're not feeling right now. There's no cups here. There's no real emotions around this. This is really all in your head. It's occurring as a sort of a set of ideas and thoughts and notions and concepts as opposed to feelings, for example. So it might be interesting for you to consider the heart and the mind this month as well, if that's the case for you. So here we have in your present. So again, the present, what you're doing in the present is you are holding that world in your hands and you're about to make a decision, like, what direction do I want to take here? And I do think it has everything to do with this, what are you anxious about? If this is career, travel, volunteer work, healing and health, a relationship or a romance issue, really no matter what it is, I mean, use these messages to your advantage. But, you are about to embark on something. You are embarking on the plan of action. This is an action card that benefits you the most. So it could just be a matter of deciding what are you willing to cut out that's not working for you any longer either. Like, I think you do have to cut something out. Trying to think of like 10 and under, the Ace of Air and the 6 of Air and the 4 of Air, for that matter, are actually very generous energy cards. The rest of the air, 10 and under, can be quite challenging. And of course, you have the 8 and 7. These are very challenging cards. But I do think that a glorious new future awaits you. I think that you just have to come to terms with something or make a decision about something. Maybe cease to be scattered about something or rush in a hurry here, and just slow down and make a plan of action here, or decide on taking action around something that makes you feel good. The opposite of this, the opposite of feeling tricky or risky, unless it's a really fun exciting risk, and anxious, obviously. So whatever is the opposite of that, take that direction. Here is the future, the Magician, having all the resources and everything you need. I do believe that you have the answers. I do believe that you know what to do. We all do, right? I think it's almost, maybe you've confused yourself into a corner. Maybe you've convinced yourself of something into a corner and you're not convinced of it anymore. Or you've convinced yourself, but you haven't convinced somebody else and it's taking a toll on you. So, just back up a little bit, put yourself first again, just you, okay, as an individual, because it's going to pay off for you and the members of your family and your friendships, obviously, that you share your time with, because you're promised this at the end of the month anyway. So I think you just need to get rid of this maybe, anxious and overwhelming and, fearful energy here. Feel strongly that, you have everything you need. You can provide, everything you need will be provided to you, including love and money and health and wealth. And work from that place this month, Gemini, because look at this gorgeous advice card. Now, this is your advice, is the Fool. This is the eyes and the heart of a child, right? This is taking a risk based on faith, which is very, very different from backing yourself into a corner or taking a calculated risk, which is a lot of mind work, right? It's the difference between I am led by love and faith, and I am not interested in fear and lack. It's really the difference between these two. These are two totally different opposites. These are polar opposites, the Seven of Air and the Fool. The Fool is having a full heart and knowing that you're well cared for and protected and that only good things will happen to you when you embark. You got to embark. You got to make a move here in the direction of your dreams that is most fulfilling. The Fool is actually my favorite card out of the entire tarot deck. It's one of the most beautiful cards in terms of meaning and energy that I have ever encountered. It's right up there with the Sun, in my view. It is exceptional. In fact, I would even say it's to the Sun and the Star. It has this, not the same energy, but a very similar healing, healed, prosperity, childlike, right? This is very important. Now remember, there's a big difference between, I want to point this out for you for a moment. There is a very big difference between being childish and being childlike. Okay? If you have to, check out the definitions. They sound like they're the same thing, but they're really not. Childish is not appealing to anybody. It's just not. We don't even like when children are acting childish because it's based in insecurity and fear. Childlike is hopeful and based in faith and love. So just two different worlds. So childlike would benefit you this month, Gemini. This could be the one. You've already met the romantic partner you seek. Now, the language is really important here. You've already met the romantic partner you seek. For anyone dating or interested or in an involved relationship, the other person needs to have this in their own heart too. You may have met someone that you think is really good for you, but they need to feel the same way about you. So this could be the one is indicative of hope, but it's also incredibly important here to remember that they need to be at the same stage and pace and be looking for you to get from you what you're looking at them to get from them, etc. It has to be equal, right? You have to be on the same page here. So you could very well have met someone or you're already in a relationship and you're going moving to the next phase of your relationship. And this is perfectly good for you, but they need to catch up with you. This is what I'm seeing here. Somebody else needs to catch up with you. You could be leading the way here with regard to a romantic adventure. If this has nothing to do with romance and you're working on a creative project, I would say that keep going in the direction that you're going, but revisions may be necessary right now. I think you might be strung out or upset or anxious about the way things have been proceeding, and something may need to be revised, which is going to work in your favor. Don't look at it as a negative. Look at it as a very positive thing. Introspection. I mean, this is really necessary too, particularly if you're going to be spending some time revising or reiterating or contemplating what's going on in your own mind here so that you can switch things up to your benefit, using your imagination to your benefit. Introspection is necessary. So that's what Bear is saying here. Bear is saying hibernation is key. It's akin to the Hermit card in the Tarot, in my view. But going within, the answers are there. I don't know if a lot of Geminis are going to appreciate hearing that right now. A lot of people, myself included, at least I used to, just want a quick fix. There must be a quick fix. You just buy the right thing, or you say the right words, or whatever, and it's fixed. But if you want long-term changes, or you want things to not be on repeat that are going in a circular motion, we have to do that ourselves. We have to do that work ourselves. So introspection, hibernation, some terms to contemplate this month for yourself in order to achieve the highest benefits for yourself. This one just flipped right over. New life. That's extremely exciting. I do think that this is akin, frankly, to the Fool card. It's the difference between, again, making that move, right? You have to decide on something here, high vibration, and then make that decision and move in that direction. But anytime we see this, new life is gorgeous. This is a new opportunity for you, and I think that this is going to speak more in line with the way that you see yourself. A new perception. A new perception needs to be found here for you to appreciate what perhaps you already have or have access to here. It's almost the difference really between, and I may be somewhat oversimplifying this, but you can play with this concept, which is I'm going to look at the 5 things I don't have and then, ruminate over that, or use my imagination or my mind to ruminate over that. Or what I can do is choose 5 things that I'm really grateful for, that I really love, that already exist, that I can rely on, etc. I've already manifested, etc. And start from that place, because that is what's going to build on itself. It really is going to build on itself. And it won't, for the first little while, if you're really new to this, it won't look that way. And it might even sound like you're lying to yourself if you say really good messages or write down 5 things you're grateful for. And don't forget little things. If you are having a hard time with that list, don't forget. If you find it's difficult to make a gratitude list, start with breath. Start with the fact that you can breathe, the fact that you have this life, the fact that you have at least one person in your life who loves and cares about you. Maybe the fact that you are mobile. Maybe the fact that you love somebody. Maybe the fact that you were able to manage something on your own that you hadn't before and you're proud of yourself. There's 5 things right there. It doesn't have to be things you own or people give you or anything like that. You can start out really simple. Here with healing and self-acceptance, I actually didn't expect these to come up, but I do think that these are part and parcel of your own personal wellness here. There's something that needs to be healed. I do recognize that in your own mind, but again, don't expect this type of work to be easy either. Anything that's been in motion for a long time needs some time to be corrected. So be gentle on yourself. So healing does need to occur. And then self-acceptance, something about just accepting yourself or others the way things are right now, okay? acceptance is the opposite of comparison, and comparison is the enemy of acceptance. So maybe contemplate those themes this month for you. I do feel you can get yourself out of this heaviness though, Gemini. If you need links to things that might help, let me know. I do wish you all the best. I know you can get through this. It's just 1 month, so you can get through this. And whatever you do achieve this month toward your own personal mental health and wellness, and your wealth and prosperity for you and your family will be lasting. You can make these permanent changes and then move on with these intact to higher and higher and higher levels of love and faith and acceptance. So thank you to everyone who comments and likes and shares my videos. Thanks to all my subscribers for your encouragement to do this work. I really do love doing it, and I hope that it's helpful and healing. So take excellent care of yourselves, Gemini. I will see you in a couple of weeks. Bye for now.